Hello?
Hello. Alright.
Not really, no.
Well, I don't quite know what's going on. Obviously, I got your grievance while I was on holiday. I sent you an email to acknowledge that it had been passed. So what I'll do is I'll re-forward you that. Did you get that or not?
No, it just tells me that you've acknowledged it, basically, not
Yeah, that means that it's been received. So what I'll do now is I'll re-forward you that and attach it to the grievance process. So just to kind of identify the process, what happens is the grievance will come into the business and then we'll pick the most suitable person to hear that grievance. It's not necessarily your line manager.
Right.
So obviously the college connected to sort of the management system with regards to knowledge is the most knowledgeable person. I'm just concerned that we're never going to get to the bottom of this and you're dissatisfied and I don't know where we go from there.
You're not notify the person to say what the steps are going to be, that this manager is going to speak to you and go through with it. So you've got whatever you've got to address, you know, bring that up to that person so that they can address that your concerns for you, not just to call you on the cuff and just start asking you questions while I'm on duty and I'm actually trying to think about work.
Right, so obviously I'm not aware of the process. Since I've emailed you because I'm not dealing with it, I'm not aware of what's been arranged. So when he phoned me now, and he was asked by planning,
But aren't you supposed to be...
He's asked planning to stand you, and they've said they'll let him know when you're free, and as in true typical planning style, they've said, oh, you can have him this afternoon. They've seen a little gap in your schedule and said, oh, you can pick up with him between this time and this time. I think that's probably where it's fallen over.
Well,
so what I'll do...
Isn't someone responsible for actually making sure that them two people can actually come together and speak? As in HR, are they not supposed to do the running round and like speak to the appropriate people and then make sure that they both have that time to speak to each other?
No, the process is that it gets investigate. So they've tried to contact you already and not had any response from you.
He did have a response from me.
Right, well he's saying that he didn't, so again, whatever, I'm going to get...
Well, hang on, let's WhatsApp. He's trying to get hold of me while I'm on rest. I'm at home. So, if you're not going to...
Well, when I spoke to him last week, it was on Tuesday and you were on your last working day, Thursday, your last working day, of course, planner.
Okay.
So, and he said that he tried to call you on Thursday to arrange a suitable time to meet and then sent you an email and didn't get a response.
He did get a response. I responded yesterday.
Alright, so obviously then off the back of that yesterday, did he respond to you back or not?
Today, yeah.
So he responded to you today saying that, what does his email say to you? Because again, I'm not privy to any information.
Well, is that not right? Shouldn't you know about this?
No. Why would I know about it?
Because you're in charge, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I'm not in charge of absolutely everything that goes on in the business. I've got a day job. I'm responsible for 180 drivers. I've got 7 direct reports as well as HR responsibilities for plant and transport. I can't have my finger on every bit of everybody's business the entire time. I've passed it to a manager in the business to investigate, which is absolutely in line with process. I'll send you the grievance process now so that you've got it, but basically saying that he's struggling to communicate effectively with you. And based on this content of this conversation, I can see where he's probably coming from. I'll get him to pick it up, but if you don't want to come in on a non-working day, I'm not in a position where I'm starting your vehicle, so you can come into the office and talk about this.
Alright,
so
well, I'm going to seek advice on that.
That's on it.
I'm going to seek advice on that.
Right, okay. What I'll do is Friday the 11th is your last working day. I'll speak to planning and we'll get you back into the depot for 4 or 5 o'clock and I'll come and meet you on Friday and do it.
Okay.
But I'll need them to, obviously, I'll send you an email now, and an email is absolutely formal communication, just for the avoidance of doubt. It's in writing. It's, if you want in a letter, every time I communicate with you, then I can go down that road with you, but I'd like to think that we don't have to communicate in that way.
An official acknowledgement, not just yet.
You've had one?
I've got your email.
No, you've had an official acknowledgement. That is
telling me what the next steps are going to be, who's going to contact me. No.
Right, I will send you the process now and just outline what we've just discussed so that you've got the policy, you can read it, you can understand the process that we will follow, and I'll arrange with him for him to come and meet you in Winstead.
Okay.
I'll ask him to pick it up and I'll speak to planning now saying I need you back in depot at a reasonable time. And we'll go from there.
Okay.
Alright, cheers, thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye. Hello?
So on Friday with that meeting with Anne, is that going to be
Yeah,
fair?
I don't know if we can attend yet. I need to check because I don't know what it's got in his diary. But all being well, that's like what I'm going to plan to do. I need to ring him now that I've just spoke to you. So what are you going to say? Will that be
the formal initial step then, the first stage?
Yeah, so obviously what he'll do then, I'm going to send you the policy now so that you can see what kind of generally happens, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that won't be enough time for me for my representation, so I'll need more time than that to notify
What do you need representation for?
Because I need a representative, don't I?
You're not entitled to bring one to a grievance
I'm not.
that you've put in.
Are you sure about that?
I don't understand why you raised concerns. It's not like you're being subjected to a process or anything yourself. All we're going to do in that meeting is go through your initial concerns and take a full and frank statement from you,
Okay.
which then Anne will need to go away and investigate.
Okay. That's fair.
So, you're not in any trouble whatsoever. By raising these concerns, we need to satisfy what you've put forward.
Yeah, but
the onus is not on us, not you.
I'd still like to express my right in bringing the representation.
Well, you go away then, you come back to me with availability for you and your representative.
Can't see you, Will. Shut down.
Listen. I'm in the right. Just bring it up.
Are you sat with him in the same room?
He's just getting logged in now.
Hello.
Everybody logged in? Oh, I can see you now, that's it. Brilliant stuff. Right, just in terms of the process for the meeting, if you want to ask a question, it's probably easier if you use the raise your hand button on the app, like a little hand, rather than having to talk over one another. It's sometimes not helpful. Rachel's going to take the notes for the meeting, and I'm here to support from the HR perspective. That was our time as well. Leanne wasn't available, and I'm the chair of the meeting, so he's investigated your grievance in this meeting where he'll feedback on the information that he's pulled together. If you want to stop at any time and take a break, or if you want to discuss anything with me, you want to sign out for a minute, just let me know and we can accommodate that. Have you got any questions before we start?
No.
You got any questions?
No. I just want a couple of points. This is just a feedback meeting to the grievance.
Yeah, so this is basically, we raised a grievance, was allocated the grievance to investigate, and this is almost a feedback session now. So this is the feedback session where we'll formally respond to the points that was raised during his grievance, and then we can have a conversation around that aspect of it if required.
Okay, can we just clarify? I know you put in your letter regarding experience, the difficulties with COVID and so on and so forth. And I just wanted a minute. the normal grievance procedure would be obviously sit down, question and answer style, manager, ultimately the right to representation more than anything. And that's what I just wanted to cover off because that wasn't available or given or. And I've seen as to why that's taking place with regards to obviously the situation that we're in. So just sort of kind of making a point and just having that noted, that would have been the case. And obviously at that point we've been offered by law effectively as well, no right to representation.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, thanks for that.
Okay, then I do want to start with regards to, would it be helpful if we read out the initial grievance that came from Ken and then kind of go through, yeah, do you want to do that? Somebody to read it?
You can read it if you like. I'll read the points after.
Yeah, that's fine. Hold on 1 second. Move this across it, yeah. Ooh. Some words when you wanted to. Right, okay. One second.
Would you like me to read it? I've got it in front of me.
If you've got your preview, let me just wait while these won't open those, so I can open what I need and then in place. One minute, sorry.
Okay. So the grievance that we received from hi, this is a formal grievance in regards to the monitoring systems installed on the truck.
As you are aware, I've been raising concerns over the cameras being activated and watched whilst driving on rest, fueling up and cleaning my truck. I was informed when I joined the company the camera system was for insurance purposes only. You have called me with concerns in response to a video of me kissing the curb. Therefore, the system is capturing too much data, or the sensors are set too high. Also, whilst I've been asking about the monitoring system, it's been brought to my attention that the company is using a program called Street Angel to collect data on me without being informed. I don't have a problem with the company collecting data whilst I'm at work. It's only fair that it's consensual. And the email.
Okay.
We're happy with that? Was the email sent?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so I just want to come to some, what I've done is I've pulled points of concern out of this email and I've come back with information about those points. So the first one I want to bring up is part of the raising concerns over the cameras being activated and watched whilst driving on rest, fueling up and cleaning my truck. Okay, so this is not the case. We cannot directly jump in and view what you are doing. The only video footage we have alerted to us is via the whether it's harsh braking, harsh acceleration, or the left and right movement on the vehicle. So we cannot just get that. We do not have any access to live footage. The only footage we can have is that what we mentioned, and if an incident occurs, we can request a small amount of footage from that camera at that point. I will keep reiterating we cannot have any live monitoring of those systems. I have been to Erin, who is the managing director of said company, Camera Telematics, for that information myself. His response to the email, which was in that sender this morning, Camera Telematics do not monitor live streaming of any of our devices. Live streaming is not a feature available in the devices installed in your fleet. So we're happy with that part of it?
No, because if you look at the emails from Mark Stamper at Camera Telematics, and he explains about the flashing light feature, and that it's talking on the network. Now, if it's talking on the network, it will be sending video stream. If that was an event like a harsh brake or an accident collision, and then it's talking to the server when the light is solid, i.e. it's offloading all of its saved data for storage for request at a later date. If the vehicle is involved in an accident or it was in a fire, then that data is stored somewhere else. So
in reference to the live streaming, he has said in his emails that the system is capable of live streaming, but it's set to default, and it's only from the request of the company from that default to be lifted, and then the system is capable of live streaming. Also on the Street Angel, if you look at the manual which was sent during them emails, you will see in it, I think it's on page 45, where it says about sending video instantly. So it says that the system is capable of sending it instantaneously if you request for the right date and time moment. So, you know, if it's like 30 seconds before, then you can retrieve that video footage from them, which is done over the blinking light.
I'll just quickly then go into what information I received back from the actual way that the camera system works. So if I just refer to the lights, the blinking lights, so the top LED, either red or green, is an indication of power to the system, to the camera itself. The middle one, the blue cyan colour, should be solid, which indicates the camera is recording. When this middle LED flashes, this is indicating that the camera is uploading footage from an event, i.e. the harsh braking, harsh acceleration. The bottom LED, so the magenta one, is for network and server connection. So a solid bottom LED indicates that the device is connected to the network and server. If this is off, then there is no network coverage and maybe a SIM issue. If this flashes slowly, it has lost connection to the server, more likely due to poor coverage. So on the videos that you sent us where you've monitored the camera, actually it's complete opposite of what you thought it was doing. It means that it actually is not connected to the system and it's trying to gain a signal. As for collecting the data and storing data, the camera system itself has a small memory card inside, which will, as recently found, will only keep and store up to 3 to 5 days worth of data. Anything outside of that we've lost. Now, I'll be honest, there are a few on the company which have a higher rate of storing. Same again, it is a 3 to 5 days on the ones that we currently have. There is no live monitoring, do not have that system in place. I have access to that system and there is no live monitoring on there. The only data that we get sent through instantaneous is the 10, 11 seconds of an event that's occurred.
Okay, well, you explained there about the middle light being for the upload of the video.
That's correct, yeah.
I've got a different explanation here sent via camera telematics, telling me that the top red charging, green charged, middle cyan, which is wrong. Sorry, that's right, yeah, cyan, it is cyan. Camera operating, dark blue, taking firmware. Bottom red slow blink connected to network, solid connected to server, dual blink, no SIM present. So that's telling me that on the slow blink it's connected to the network.
You see, I've got a complete from the managing director Erin, but that is the exact how that system works with and what those lights are telling us.
Well, I mean, I'm only referencing an email that was sent via
I do appreciate that.
Yeah,
I have tried to get in touch with Mark Stamper, but couldn't, hence why I had to go to Erin, who was the MD, to get this information back. Okay. I'll just move on to another point in your grievance.
Just let me unmute myself just 1 second. I think that's something that we will need to come back to you on, because that is obviously. We've got conflicting information that's been provided from the same company. Mark works directly for Erin, so it might be that, you know, I'm purely speculating. Erin's a little bit too far removed from the day-to-day. Can't both be right, so we'll go back and we'll clarify that point.
Okay. Right, so the next part then. I was informed when I joined the company that the camera system was insurance purposes only. That is correct, we do use it for insurance purposes, should an incident occur, and also for any internal investigation within that time period. So you are correct on that, that is. effectively what it is. Also, that you called me with concerns response to video kissing the curb.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen the video myself, and personally, I would not class that as just kissing the curb.
Okay.
And that is the video, the one that we're on about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That to me is much more than kissing the curb, and it would 100% cause the system to send us an alert, because the parameters set on that are: we will receive a high alert when the tri-axis accelerometer measures a breach of the g-force parameter, which is currently set to 0.7 g, braking, acceleration, left and right cornering of the fleet, which then will upload an 11-second clip to ourselves.
Okay.
Something like what you said there, the kissing the curb, that is definitely an event that would cause that.
Okay. So it was a bit more than kissing the curb, in your words. Can you clarify that?
Looking at the video, I can only go on what I've seen. But the way that the video shows, that is more than to me kissing the curb.
As in more than what? More than kissing the curb. What more was there?
The curb, that is an impact with the curb.
Okay.
And that might be a difference in our opinion of kissing. To me, that was an impact. That was a straight hit it and bounced off.
Okay.
So that video to me would have definitely send me a message, which it did.
Okay.
Sorry.
Go on.
The purpose of sending the video just to demonstrate, or was it an action that was being brought by the company?
No,
was it
not
just,
so.
was it just to demonstrate something? Or?
Yeah, I sent the video to them because we were already in informal dialogue, so trying to resolve some of his concerns with regards to how the system operated. And I sent him that as an example of the videos that we get sent through. It wasn't in the form of any kind of you've done something wrong type conversation. It was just like, this is an example of the videos that we sent, and I'd raised that with him again because we were already in dialogue. I was a bit concerned. It wasn't usually in line with how he drives. It would never have anything like this happen really. And I was a bit concerned that he was watching the lights, which is the conversation that I had with him, rather than the road at that point in time. So I just wanted to make sure it was more of a sense check, everything alright, fully concentrating on what's going on. And I said in that as the example, but again, it was just part of the conversation around is everything alright.
Which is fine. Like I said, it's not unusual. The point I'm trying to make is obviously I made a point that is that something, because I know these systems work with the changes from time to time, they get more advanced. I spoke about one the other day where they were capturing people's iris movement and sleeping and nodding and all that. It's getting way beyond where perhaps it should be. Nevertheless, are the employees made aware of all the kind of incidents, harsh braking, impacts, all these kinds of other things that would send a signal? Because I'm assuming, does it come to your email flagged and you look through the particular piece of footage? Yes, it's pretty standard stuff. I've done this before. And obviously you will then make a judgment to whether you tackle the employee with regards to what we've seen on the... So just on this point, although it isn't kind of an issue, you've made that clear, was there not a point then you was going to challenge, was it just to demonstrate regarding the use of the system?
Yeah, it was more just that this is the example of the footage that we get. It wasn't a case of you've done this, come into the office next week, let's have a conversation. When I spoke to him about it, he explained it instantly. When I said we've had this footage come through, he knew exactly where it had taken place, told me straight away, which obviously demonstrated to me that he was aware that it had happened. Now he was concerned at that point was that he might have been distracted. But no, when I spoke to him, it was kind of just offset straight away. With the explanation that he provided, it was an informal conversation.
Okay.
Okay. So we've gone through that one. The next one was using a program called Street Angel to collect data on me without being informed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just to let you know, the data that goes back to Street Angel or camera telematics, there is no driver data. The only data they actually get from us is the vehicle registration. So the data in the system is vehicle registration and the unit number from that camera itself. There is no driver data, no names attached. So when that information comes through to us, it is just a registration that we then work from. So just to put your mind at rest, your data is not, telematics do not know you personally from any camera.
So when the system's active and it's operating, and I'm stopped in a lay-by, and I get out of the truck to relieve myself, and the system's still active and recording, and I appear in that image, is that not personal data?
That's not the company holding your data. We do not.
That's personal data captured by the CCTV system, isn't it? That's my personal data.
Is that what we're referring to, or are we referring to collecting the data from the camera? As in,
it's collecting personal data on me.
So in terms of your personal data,
if I appear in the video footage, that's personal data of me.
It's not, is it? It's an image data in that
That's
format.
personal data. If I appear...
General Data Protection Regulation, your image, you'll be captured on CCTV 150 times a day, nationwide, walking to a shop.
So that's personal data on me. If I walk into a store and the store captures images of me, that's personal data of me. I can request that data. There's signage on the store telling me where I can request that data from, who the controlling officer is, what the number is.
Okay, well I don't know what the point is, sorry.
The company's not giving any of that to me. Telling me where I can obtain my personal data from, who's in control of the CCTV system that's operated throughout the truck. So there is personal data captured on me from that system. And that's the personal data that I was asking about.
Can I just suggest it? We've dealt with this as a trade union. We've asked for two opinions legally. There is a lot of concern regarding drivers and how their data is kept, if any, how it's managed. And briefly, as was explained, the kind of 8-page document that we got, condensed, I think it came back as bottom line as long as the individuals know the CCTV being used or data being used, who's collected the data, who's got access to the data, who's using the data, so on and so forth. And basically, what it said, it captured all those kind of points and said, as long as the employee, in this case, is aware of those particular points, the company basically can do what they want. Which was kind of a brought down, analysed comment. And we've asked twice over a period of times, because obviously initially these came in quite a good number of years ago, and then we've had a revised opinion, and the opinion comes back the same. And I kind of liken it to walking into a store. You're going to be recorded. You know what they're going to utilise that information for. As to who collects the information, the data and all that, I suppose I suggest you can go and ask somebody, there's a telephone number or whatever. The point being made here is, are the employees made aware of this? Are they actually made aware of who's got the data, who's in control of it, who's got access to it, where it's being stored, the generalised points?
I'm going to note that. I'm not on mute. Just in terms of the process that we follow, obviously as part of the force training, it's covered that there's telematics on the vehicle. It will force goals as a business, and part of that requirement, it lends itself to the telematics that we've got on the vehicle. That is, it runs through every bit of training that we do in the business. Do we have a statement that we provide drivers that categorically said, this is what it is, this is where you go? I don't think that exists in that format. However, it is widely discussed, it's part of our training, it's discussed on the induction, the telematics are there for, the driver's safety as well as the safety of others. So it's not like people don't know that it exists, but do we have a statement that says this is the process if you wanted to request that footage, or I don't believe that exists. Do you know anything different?
The other thing is, I'll refer back to Grievance. You did say you were informed when you joined the company that the camera system was there and it's still showing. So, like I said, I don't know whether there is in circulation form that is signed. Everybody is notified that this system is in place.
And notified where they can obtain the data that's held on them and who's responsible for it. And just on telematics, I've never been told about telematics and the system at all.
Telematics is in every vehicle. It just tells us how fast you go in, when you brake in. Tachograph.
if you go through the handbook, which I've included, you'll see within the handbook every piece of equipment that I will use on my job and also relation to the truck. And there's nothing in there about CCTV, and there's nothing in there about telematics or Street Angel. So I've never been told of it. I just know.
Telematics and Street Angel, when you joined them, we weren't necessarily the telematics companies that we used. I believe we had 3. I've been in the business for 2.5 years. Your employment predates me joining and I think. And that's not a slope-shouldered response, but over time things have changed with regards to the upgrading of vehicles, having different requirements for front-facing, rear-facing, side-facing cameras, and the fleet hasn't always been to the standard that it is today, and the way that it's developed through vehicles and things. Maybe we've probably not kept you in up to date as we probably should have done with regards to those changes and what the impact is on you as a professional driver. And again, that's something that we can take from the meeting and feedback.
So you say there that the telematics has been introduced since I've joined. Now,
yeah,
was there?
We say that.
Oh,
we have 3 different companies in existence, and what I'm saying is that I don't know if Street Angel was the provider of choice when you started with the business. So in terms of that system, we can check the dates on when that came into play, if you like, with regards to the upgrading of the camera systems and when things have changed. But going back 18 months ago, we had 3 different providers of telematics on the vehicles, and that was based on whether they'd come through the usual process in terms of purchased and brought through to the company in the usual way, and dependent on where they kind of come at what point in the year would determine what telematics company they used to put the cameras in and various bits and bobs. So I do know that they worked to reduce that, and I think we've currently got 2 that we use for camera.
So when you said that they changed the system, was an impact assessment done, which is recommended by the ICO, the Information Commissioner's Office, stating what the new parameters were for the CCTV system, and notifying the employees of the changes to the system, how the company then processes its personal data on the employees.
I'm not in a position to answer that now. I'll just come back to you with that one.
Okay.
Okay. There's note of that. I think from my perspective, it's probably important to discuss what you wanted to achieve by way of submitting this grievance and by way of an agreeable outcome.
Well, there's a definite change in the system and the way the system operated from the period just before we went into the pandemic. The system operated totally different to them when I first raised the concerns about it. So there was a change. You'd either added Street Angel or you changed the way you process the data. I don't know, the parameters on Street Angel. Something had changed in that time frame. And I'd note.
I think the changes then, it's probably important that we discuss that. You've raised this with me before, and
on
I can only tell you what we know.
On the 27th of the 5th, I called first to raise my concerns informally about the blinking light.
Okay. How did that signify a change for you though from what was happening previously?
Well, the light started blinking while I'm driving for a long period of time. And it never done that.
It's there's no in-cab camera, there's no front facing, forward facing in-cab, no.
No. It's all external.
The ones we have is.
This is just purely a piece of kit. I've seen the video. Yeah. It's a small black box that flashes.
Yeah.
Not something the company can do because I would find that a distraction, to be honest.
Yeah.
Certainly where it's set right in the middle of the dashboard. I don't know whether that's for a purpose or not. But again, it's not something the company could do with regards to if that piece of kit has to flash for all the reasons spoke about that they could. What I wouldn't want to see is one of our members being challenged to a disciplinary for covering cameras up, for tampering with pieces of kit. I've been there, I've done all that. So if we can ask the company if that's something that is possible to kind of move it somewhere else, you cover it up, company. If it's something that's not necessary for the driver in particular, I think that's what I said, is the distraction. And we know ourselves, once you start looking, it's like a ticking clock. You look at it again. You look at it again, and all of a sudden you're not looking here, you're looking there. So from a distraction point of view, I'm sure as a company, you want to make sure from a duty of care point of view, and a health and safety, I'm not boring you all that stuff, you already know all that, with regards to making sure that one, your driver is safe, and ultimately other road users as well. So again, that might be something that I don't know, that you might want to discuss with the company. If that is something of a big distraction, which it sounds like it is, the company may want to look at removing, putting to one side, covering themselves. I don't know whether that would help with the situation.
All I've wanted is just to be informed the right way. That was it. There's a change to the system. They could have been notified to say this. We've changed the way we record all video footage from the trucks. This is the way it's going, and this is what you should expect to see different now. But there's nothing at all.
So out to this meeting, I think the question I warned you before we get to this meeting, that would be one of the questions. Hopefully, somebody asks, what is the result that you want out of that? And if that's the result, you want a briefing, or you'd like all the companies to come and reset the parameters as you talk about, or the use of those pieces of kit, make everybody aware at once, whether it's through the company handbook, briefing document that everybody signs off to say that they've read, whatever. Will that then help towards resolving the issue along with the flashing piece of kit as well?
Yeah.
It's not rocket science, is it?
No.
So I think in terms of the actions that I've got to come away, we need to come back to and explain the difference in the information that's been given with regards to the lights and which light is in line with, obviously, you have a difference from Mark and what I'm in a different area. So we need to signify which of those lights is responsible for what activity. We need to have a look at the point in which the system changed. I'm not aware of any changes in the system this calendar year so far, so the changes that I'm talking about regards to telematics, other than we've had issues with SIM cards and they've been out and reset some of them, and that was purely because we were having issues where the cameras weren't recording at all, and that was a huge problem for us back end of last year. So we've gone through a bit of a process, and we're still not all of the way there with that. We had an incident last week, for example. Couldn't get any footage off the vehicle because the SIM card wasn't inserted properly. So we know that we have had issues, but the issues relate more to can't get the information, or the information doesn't exist, rather than the other way around. And I can only, we talk about the number of cases that we've had where that has been the case. It seems to be more popular that way around than the other. If we ask for the footage we can actually get it, it's kind of like we all high-five each other, but that's not really for you to worry about. So we'll come back in relation to the light. At what point, if any, the system changed. Any impact assessment, as you've said, is absolutely the right thing to do from the business owner of that device. And then to come back to you with any kind of options around either moving the unit, covering the LEDs up so that they're not flashing, and then in relation to some form of caveat or statement with regards to the data, what it's used for, how to access it if you wanted to access it, and cover that off in a statement under data protection. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
No.
Okay. Anything from you?
I'll go back to
anything from you?
No, as long as it's his meeting, I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah. I think just from my perspective then, if we write an outcome to what's been discussed with regards to the points that have been upheld or not upheld based on what you said, and then the actions, I'll get that out to you as soon as possible, and then we'll just agree a timeline with regards to the other actions that I don't know. I know you had problems getting all going last week as well as not being able to speak to Mark. So when we're reliant on a third party to provide us with some of the information that we need, we just need to be mindful that it might happen, you know, today or tomorrow. We just need to keep you updated with regards to progress, if that's okay. Okay.
Can I just say that there are some positives out of these pieces of kit, and I've seen them. You know, so I've sat in many meetings where drivers have been, you know, kind of, you know, put in a position disciplinary because of their actions or what have you, and the cameras have proven totally different. So there are, you know, massive benefits to these pieces of kit. Yeah. Also the old case, and certainly the in-cab camera stuff, which is, you know, we can talk about all day. But yeah, I think, you know, I only agree. As long as you get all these points and you're comfortable, then will that make you a happier person? Will that make you better? What you're going to say is, we're in this meeting now, while we're all here. Is there anything else you need to bring to the table now before we leave? Because, you know, the information sent me was quite detailed and fantastic, no problem. But ultimately, while we're covering it all off today, the company will respond, give you an opportunity to go through that. So is there anything else particular you want to bring to the table?
No.
You're comfortable?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, everyone. And like I said, I'll get something across to you today just to outline the content of the conversation that we've had, the points that we've almost addressed, and then the bits that we need to come back to you on, if that's all right.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your time, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Give me a call.
Okay, cheers. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye now.